2025 has been many things so far. The year that Silksong still hasn't launched in. The year that Grand Theft Auto 6 got delayed out of. The year where everyone rightfully hates Microsoft leadership. But it's also delivered, perhaps unexpectedly, some of the best single-player games ever made. From bold new RPGs to familiar franchises and more than a few incredible sequels, it's been a stellar year thus far. Here are 15 of the best single-player games that stand out. The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Remastered. With the disappointments surrounding Starfield and the hype and concern over The Elder Scrolls VI, I never imagined that Bethesda would revisit Oblivion as it did, retaining the core gameplay with Gamebryo but overhauling the visuals with Unreal Engine 5. Perhaps more surprising is how well the adventure holds up, both narratively and in gameplay, though the numerous quality of life changes, hooray for leveling that makes sense, certainly help. Now, if only Virtuos and Bethesda could fix the various issues on PC. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Few games this year have really left a mark like Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I don't just mean that in terms of the story, its characters, its gorgeous aesthetic, or even its utterly broken builds that even enemies with 100 times the health can't stand up to. I'm talking about revisiting the incredible soundtrack where every song fits and sounds amazing, rain from the ground on repeat. I'm talking about marveling at areas that I hadn't ever seen or heard of to date, and most of all, I'm talking about seeing others' reactions to the best moments, just to relive it all over again.
This is ultimately a war of information. There's still too much we don't understand.
The Altars. A game that embodies the sensation of, I hate Jan, can't stand Jan, then smash cutting to me and my bestie, Jan. Except Jan is many, and also yourself, but also your crew that needs to band together and ensure survival by fleeing a killer sun via a giant circular base. If that doesn't sell you on The Altars, then the act of witnessing different Jans of fictitious walks of life coming together and either imploding, enduring, or everything in between should. Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist. Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist doesn't completely overhaul the core of Ender Lilies, instead throwing players into a different setting afflicted by the Reign of Death. Nevertheless, it's impossible to ignore its most compelling changes and improvements, whether it's the homunculus customization or their very characterization. Tying it all together is yet another fantastic soundtrack by Mealy, stellar art direction, and incredible boss fights. Doom: The Dark Ages. Rip, tear, and shield bash until it's done? Doom: The Dark Ages didn't deliver on all of the beats I wanted, but with its gameplay, id Software fulfilled its goal for a new experience while channeling the greatness of the contemporary titles. Rapid weapon switching and aerial shenanigans are out, parrying attacks while bouncing the shield saw off multiple enemies, exploding shields, and bullying a cyber demon with rapid chain shots is in. The slick level design and pacing keeps the action flowing as you itch for the next big battle. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Henry's come to see us and delivered one of the best role-playing games of the year. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 improves on the original in all of the expected ways, progression, combat, visuals, etc. But the quest design and immersion are on another level. There are far more choices for outcomes with so much influencing the main story path, and the extensive range of build choices is beaten only by the sheer amount of things to see and discover. Sure, there are the usual bugs, but by and large, it showcases the limits that some developers can break through to deliver a truly endearing RPG experience. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Tempting as it is to consider this Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth Majima edition, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii distinguishes itself in various other ways. Amnesia does little to hinder everyone's favorite gangster, who obtains a pirate ship and crew and sails the waters, engaging in naval combat and plundering. Even the combat, making a well-worn return to real-time, thrives with new jumping attacks, summons, and the Cutlass style. Add in RGG Studios' usual assortment of side content, and this will keep completionists busy for some time. Citizen Sleeper 2: Starward Vector. eschewing a centralized location with all of its back alleys and varied stories creeping within its structures for a wider system and multiple companions, Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector nevertheless maintains its role-playing narrative focus. Whether you decide to push your luck on jobs, delve into your crewmate's past, or settle your own scores, the weight of each decision feels beyond a simple dice roll and speech check, and more like an extension and consequence of your own character. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Is this technically a port of a 2015 title with a few added story scenes and an online PvE mode with optional co-op? Yeah, but it's also Yakuza 0, which many consider the best game in the franchise. The origins of Kazuma Kiryu and how he became the famed Dragon of Dojima, and the story of Majima Goro before his Mad Dog status are framed against the late 80s Japan with its unique fashions and overinflated land prices. Each side story felt compelling and memorable. Nearly every corner felt like it offered something new, and it's all backed by stellar combat and storytelling. Bionic Bay. Some of Bionic Bay's monochromatic visuals and platforming might initially remind you of Limbo, but the reality is more tenuous. Set in the ruins of biomechanical civilization, survival is just as much about swapping places and manipulating gravity as it is about controlling time and desperately avoiding projectiles. The surreal environments belie an intriguing setting, while the gameplay keeps you guessing. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Out of nowhere, Team Ninja showed up and announced that Ninja Gaiden was back. However, it also dropped Ninja Gaiden 2 Black with improved visuals and quality of life changes, but the same brutal combat, that too with ample gore. We could debate endlessly on how it's still not the definitive version of the original and how Sigma's influence still lingers, and yet, as a throwback to simpler hack-and-slash times with challenging difficulty and masterful combat, it was everything we could have ever wanted. Dynasty Warriors Origins. Speaking of throwbacks, Dynasty Warriors Origins redeemed the series, casting it out of its long-running rut by doing the obvious, going back to its roots. That means big 1v100 battles and no open-world mechanics, alongside an original protagonist and a different perspective on the romance of the Three Kingdoms. Granted, there's no traditional free mode where you can play as any of your companions without restrictions, but as a clean slate, with each weapon class feeling distinct and the presentation going above and beyond previous titles, it's a marked improvement. Assassin's Creed Shadows. The dust will probably never settle on Assassin's Creed Shadows, but it still stands as one of the more compelling action RPG entries in the franchise. On top of the gorgeous depiction of Japan, the stealth and parkour are wonderfully expanded, finally fulfilling the ninja fantasy that so many AC fans have wanted for years. That combat feels significantly expanded and more responsive, with Naoe and Yasuke offering different compelling options, which also doesn't hurt. Lies of P Overture. Overture does what any good Souls-like expansion should do: humble you. Sometimes it was a little too effective, necessitating some adjustments, but on the flip side, it also offered everything else that fans of the base game could want: new Legion arms and weapons, new boss fights that look as awe-inspiringly brutal as they play. What more could you want? Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Delivery Simulator, Walking Simulator, UPS Simulator, Empty World. You can probably lobby all these complaints and more at Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. However, the actual experience is a massive leap over the original in every possible way, with environmental hazards, new enemy types, more varied firearms, and better structures, leading to vastly expanded approaches. If nothing else, the story is both much more emotionally resonant and chock full of Kojima's weirdest ideas. And dance numbers yet. Hey, did you know that we at Gaming Bolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.